And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, welcome back to another episode of In the Huddle. I, alone, solo. I'm rocking solo today, giving you my instant fight reactions to the Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos fight. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got an upset to end all 2021 in a year of boxing where we have been getting good fights left and right to close out our year. And we close it out with a huge upset of Teofimo Lopez as your boy George Kambosos Jr. defeated the takeover. He took over MSG, the mecca of sports, in a very, very big upset against Teofimo Lopez, winning the match by a split decision. I know there's going to be the talk of the town about this fight, how close it was, how it could have went either way, and quite frank with you, it could have went either way. But before we get into the fight, let's slow the pace down a bit, because I'm just going to let y'all know that this is pre-recorded, right after the fight is over. So I don't really have that much time to digest everything that I saw, but we're going to give it a shot here in this video we're in on Monday's show on In the Huddle. So if y'all listening, well, welcome aboard. Sit back, relax. Let's keep it intact. We got to talk about it and keep it a stack. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. You know, I enjoyed my Thanksgiving. Listen, I wasn't going to record an episode until Monday, but I said, let me get my lazy ass off this couch and talk about this fight. Man, I got to be real with y'all. I was very, very disappointed in Teofimo Lopez in this fight. It was clear. One guy came into this fight disciplined, and another came into this fight overly cocky. And one of my famous lines, if you look in the book of Lil Stradamus, one of my famous lines that I bring up on the show is underestimation can lead to devastation. Never underestimate a hungry opponent. And from round one, Lopez just came out headhunting, almost like he was ready to get back home to watch his NFL Sunday ticket in the morning. Like, I got a place to be. Let me get this mandatory out of here. And that's just what it was, right out the gate. And he got caught in the first round with an overhand right that literally stunned him, woke him up a little bit, should have woke him up a little bit. And that was a 10-8 round off the bat. Now, before I get into these rounds, I just want to say that this fight, these two fellas, Kambosos and Lopez, did a good job of selling the fight, and it lived up to the sell. Now, it's one thing to sell a fight and, obviously not live up to the lofty expectations or the expectations of how you're selling the fight, but it surely did. It was a war for 12 rounds that could have went either way, and I'm not mad at the decision. We're going to get into my scorecards, and we also going to get into some other points that I want to revert back to when talking about self-promotion and why that is key in boxing in today's era of boxing. Right, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. I normally got my guy Dino on the block or Zay on the block with the boxing talk, because I always love the dialogue in boxing, but guess what? We're going to handle it the way how we going to handle it. So, first off, let's get to the scorecards, and I'm going to tell you who I had winning the fight. I had Kambosos winning the fight 114 to 112. Now, the difference in this fight, it came down to round 12. That was a deciding factor, sort of like what we saw with Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. What happened in that 12th round in the Lopez in a Lomachenko fight? It was that Lopez won that round. That round was pivotal in that fight. You know how close that fight was? And the fact that Lomachenko, where he did wrong, was that he gave Lopez too much respect. Kambosos didn't. Kambosos didn't go in there fearing his power. He said going into the fight, if he's going to come and bring it to me, I'm going to bring it back. And it was evident. He took all Lopez shots. Lomachenko was supposed to be the Matrix, and he was scared of the power. So he took so long to kind of get in rhythm. And once he got in rhythm, it's arguable that Lomachenko won all those last 5 rounds except for the round 12. And that was a fight that Lopez dug in the bag and won. And, you know, he did it for Brooklyn. That's my guy. I love Lopez. I'm upset at the way how the fight turned out. But it is what it is. Lopez, he won that fight because Lomachenko feared his power. In this fight, when you have two fellas talking smack, talking all that yin yang yo, and the guy's actually delivering it, he's actually more disciplined than you are. You're going headhunting from round one. You get caught. That should be an incentive that, all right, this guy ain't no joke. Let's jab, let's counter, and continue to do that, and obviously rack up on some points. But that wasn't the case throughout the fight. I had, obviously, Kambosos winning the 10-8 round in round one because of the knockdown. I thought the next two rounds went to Lopez, slightly. Round four, I had a Kambosos round. He was countering everything that Lopez was doing. I mean, he was running circles around Lopez for the majority of this fight as far as boxing skills. All right, countering the jab, all that. Round four, I gave to Kambosos. Round five, I also gave to Kambosos. Landed another overhand right on Lopez, which was a few of those type of shots throughout the duration of the fight. He was jabbing Lopez while Lopez was hunting. That was his problem. He's head hunting, and you have a guy that's actually boxing and racking up points that way. Round six, Kambosos round, of course, caught him with another right hand and a left hand on the belt. And you saw at this round, he was gaining confidence, right? But this confidence went before the fight. I could read body language, right? We all know that the saying goes, 90% of nonverbal, or should I say 90% of communication is nonverbal communication. So you can look into the eyes and tell a fighter and tell anybody, an individual, of how he feels and what he's going through and that sort. And Kambosos from the dressing room, the brother looked like he was going to war. He looked like he was ready to go to war. From the dressing room, looking in the mirror and boxing, I just read that off of him, and I said to myself, we might be in for something. Listen, Lopez was a 13-1 underdog, or 13-1 favorite, should I say. Kambosos was the underdog. And obviously, sometimes, you know, Vegas lie and Vegas mess up on big money. And guess what? That's what happened in this fight. But carrying on, round 8 through 10, I gave to Lopez. I thought he started to get a rhythm in those latter rounds. Round 8 landed a decent body shot, enough in those final 10 seconds for me to give him the round. Round 9 was a Lopez round, which I thought was his best boxing round of the entire fight, with chopping right hands and big right hands. And some of those chopping right hands gave Kambosos a little bit of trouble, especially in that round 10, when Lopez landed a choppy right hand for the knockdown, 10-8, and this is when I thought Lopez was going to get him out of there. I said, all right, this is it. He's going to get him out of there, but he didn't go for it. You got to swarm Kambosos with punches. Make the referee stop the fight, for crying out loud. He didn't. He allowed Kambosos to get back into the fight and obviously to regain that confidence, which he did in round 11 when he ran circles once again around Lopez, landing a right hand, and also, you know, Lopez was just looking for the counter, and he was just more aggressive, Kambosos. I had to give that round to Kambosos. Now, we get to this championship round, which is a Super Bowl round of boxing, which is your round 12, where in a close fight like this, you have to be more aggressive in order to get that round, because that may decide the fight. And I think it clearly did. It did on my cards. I'm pretty sure it did on a few other judges' cards. I can't remember the cards that they had off the top of the dome. But ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. It was a toss around. I thought Lopez landed a few more impactful shots. It wasn't too impactful. It didn't hobble Kambosos, but it was more, you know, shots that I thought were deemed more effective. Kambosos was a little bit more active, landed a little bit more in that round. So even though I wanted to do it for Brooklyn, I was going to give that round to Lopez. I was like, listen, I'm about to take one for Brooklyn. Stand up for the Brooklyn boy. But I had to be a fair guy. I don't cheat. you know, and I'm not going to get on referees and judges for terrible scorecards and cheating. If I'm going to do the same damn thing, then look out for my hometown dude, Lopez. I had to keep it real. It said my name, the real Lil. I gave that round to Kambosos slightly. I just wish Lopez did a little bit more in that round, and quite frankly, I wish he did more in that fight. It wasn't a good game plan at all. The corner was terrible. The father was giving him contradicting advice. You know, do what we talked about in practice and in training camp and and then, you know, get him out of there. You're powerful. I mean, it was very contradicting advice. Listen, Lopez was a bigger guy in the fight. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about him going into the fight. 2-year layoff since that Lomachenko fight. Obviously, had a son that was born recently. He said he was hurt going into the fight. This was going into the fight. This wasn't a scenario where he tried to cop a plea and he was like, listen, I was hurt, This was actually going into the fight. He said he was hurt going into the fight. So maybe that has something to do with it. The layoff has something to do with it. And obviously the game plan too has something to do with that. And that's a bad combination going into a war like this. It was very unfortunate. 135, I think that obviously that's affecting Lopez staying at 135, having to fight a smaller fighter, you know, and it is what it is. The wear and tear in boxing, that can kind of affect you. But listen, as I take a sip of the juice, you feel me? I'm not here to undermine Kambosos with saying all of those things. Obviously, Kambosos won this fight. He was more disciplined. He had a better game plan. He was utilizing the jab more, something that Lopez didn't do. Unfortunately, I wanted Lopez to win. I thought he was the baddest dude in the lightweight division. Obviously, being from Brooklyn, I supported the guy. He was on top of the world. After defeating Lomachenko, and now 2 years later, after a long layoff, you get back in the ring, and now Kambosos won the fight, and did it, and now he's on top of the world as a unified lightweight champion. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully throughout the week, when I get the guys involved, Dino and Zay in the building, maybe we can talk about the lightweight division, the landscape. Obviously, Devin Haney is fighting this week as well. I don't care. None of y'all know that right now. I don't care. That dude is a boring-ass fighter to me. And then he talks about mandatories and how he should get a big fight. Bro, you're boring. Okay? You're boring. You fought Linares the last fight, right? Linares, that obviously is a very, very sneaky, solid fighter. But you was winning the fight. You allowed him to come back in the fight. It was a boring-ass fight. The fight that you fought before that was a boring-ass fight. I'm not trying to hear it. But guess what? You got your wish right now. I think you're in better positioning to get a big fight now that Kambosos has the belts now. Now that fight is easier to make. So congratulations. You may have an early Christmas gift in a big unification bout where you can win that fight and have the belts and basically dictates what happens in the lightweight division. That might be your path. But I don't really care. Like I said, he's a born fighter. But look, to end off here, and I want to revert back to what I promised earlier in my take when I talked about the promotion of this fight and how everything was just so promoted great, despite this fight being pushed back 100 times. Even leading up to the fight, the day of, I was like, listen, I hope this fight don't get pushed back again. Even though the weigh-in and everything took place, I was like, listen, something was telling me, Lil, make sure you have a backup plan, something to watch on TV, because if this fight gets pushed back, I mean, there's going to be a problem, right? So, obviously, despite all that, it was promoted well. Lopez and Kambosos did a good job of the promotion. And this is a promoter's dream, to have a fighter like a Kambosos. Obviously, he wears the belt now. The belts now. I got to put an S by that belt. It's more than one. And a guy like Lopez, obviously, prior to the loss. Now, it's not the end of the world for Lopez. Obviously, he can still rebound. We'll see if they do a rematch. Obviously, Kambosos will be the A side in this because he won, obviously. So he will dictate the side of the street and what happens, where the fight will take place, the purse bid, But the reason why I want to revert back here is because it reminds me of the conversation that I had about Terrence Crawford and him leaving Top Rank after the Sean Porter fight with his contract up and trying to move across the street, whether it be PBC, whether it be Mayweather Promotions. We still have yet to know what exactly he's going to do. But the thing that Crawford lacks is that self-promotion. And I'm not talking about in the ring promotion. He does that. Obviously, he's a hell of a fighter to watch. But in 2021, in any aspect of entertainment, you need to have that it factor. Not only with the craft, but outside the craft. Listen, it's not my rules. It's damn sure ain't my politics. I hate all that attention grabbing, on Instagram, social media all day type of nonsense. I think a lot of people is a bunch of weirdos for posting their whereabouts and everything on social media. But guess what? It's the times, and in this world, you either adapt or, you get left back. It is what it is. So, Terrence Crawford lacks that Lopez it. And I was saying that going into the fight, I'm like, Lopez has that it. He can sell. He can be a star in boxing. He could be the face in boxing because he has that personality. It's unfortunate that he lost the fight because had he won this fight, dug deep, got him out of there in that 10th round when he had the opportunity to, then he would have definitely ascended into, higher perception, you can say. Obviously, he was there after defeating Lomachenko. I mean, come on. Lomachenko was the baddest man on the planet at that time, but he defeated him. He was on top of the world. But the layoff, obviously, don't help. Some people forget about you. I mean, it's what have you done for me lately, not what have you done for me 2 years ago. But he could have got right back into that. He has the personality to do that. Terrence Crawford is not like a Mayweather. Mayweather did so many things to sell a fight. I remember when he fought Ricky Hatton and he went over to England and he threw up the middle finger at the crowd and was talking smack at the crowd. That's how you sell a fight. That gets me amped up even more, even though I know I have the discipline and knowledge of the sport of boxing to say if a fight is going to be good or not. Well, in this fight with Lopez and Kambosos, I thought I had the knowledge that Lopez was going to pack him up early in the fight. But what kept me interested and what drew me into this fight and got me amped up for this fight was the trash talking, the smack talking. Oh, these cats don't like each other. You see Teofimo Lopez's father throwing shots at the fighter, and there was just a whole big commotion, and these guys looking like they wanted to fight during the weigh-in. I mean, the entrance walks in this fight. Guys had to have separate entrances to the fight. I mean, the spectacle, the crowd was live. I mean, everything about this fight, the environment, the build-up was perfect. Bigger than some of the bigger fights that we have. I mean, listen, Crawford and Sean Porter was on a damn ESPN app. A damn ESPN app. Are you kidding me? And you expect Errol Spence to say that this fight is a 50-50 purse bid? And you out here fighting on ESPN Plus? Are you kidding me? So yeah, the problem that Terrence Crawford have may not be a full Bob Arum problem. Like I said, I don't mind him going to PBC for that matter. There's better fighters over there. Maybe a Terrence Crawford in a Keith Thurman fight looks luxurious, even though Keith Thurman haven't fought for 2 years, right? But at the same time, that self-promotion is key in entertainment. Whether you're a rapper, I didn't hear some of the garbage rap tracks on the radio. I don't listen to radio no more, right? Because there's a lot of garbage there. But those guys know how to sell and do the crazy stuff they do and fit with the modern day times, and that's how they get people to buy their nonsense, right? I ain't gonna call out no names. So that's kind of how you have to be as a fighter. Listen, you got Jake Paul selling out more arenas than you, Terrence Crawford. Let's keep it real. A YouTube star that's not even from the sport of boxing selling out arenas more than you. Now, I know he had a fan base already, but damn, I'm pretty sure that fan base not into boxing like that. And he's selling more arenas than you. So he needs some of that Lopez juice, where he can sell a fight. And I think if he goes to PPC, he may find out that the grass ain't greener on the other side. Possibly. But I just wanted to draw that comparison between the two. Obviously, not going too away from the fight that I just recapped, but trying to draw a bridge and a comparison. And at the end of the day, it's my damn show. I do what the hell I want at the end of the day. Philosophical Lil ain't playing no games, right? It is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That's my reactions, my instant fight reactions to the upset that we just saw on Saturday night. Kambosos defeated the Takeover, Lopez, Teofimo, and hey, it's boxing. Boxing has ended us off in 2021 on a good note, on a high note. Yeah, the highest of the high. That's boxing right now. And I forgot. We still got 2 more fights left to go to end out our year. We got Gervonta Davis, who that's box office, off his skill alone, and a boring Devin Haney that I'm really not interested in. But he's fighting too. I gotta mention him here. And up to 2022, we go. Woohoo! Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, one fighter came in discipline. The other clearly didn't come to the fight with a game plan. And that was Lopez. Bad advice from the corner. Contradicting advice from the corner. Went headhunting from round 1 out of the gate, child, like a cannon to get Kambosos out of there. Almost like he had some places to be. And this guy that he was fighting was a mandatory. And he was like, listen, let me get you out the way. But an overhand right connected on Lopez. Pretty much flustered him. Knocked him down. 10-8 round. But it just goes to show you that in fights in the Mecca, anything could happen. I know it sounds so premature, so generic, but it's a real thing. Look at Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. That upset, that was probably the biggest upset since Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. That happened right in the Garden. Right? Also, you talk about the Muhammad Ali Joe Frazier fight, part 1, where Muhammad Ali got caught and hit the deck, even though he got back up and he obviously lost that fight. That was an upset too, because he was favored to win that fight. So, fights in the Mecca are so prestigious and is prone to upsets. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. I know all about upsets. I'm upset all the damn time when we talking about the Knicks here, right? But that's just boxing for you, and that's why you never underestimate your opponent. Underestimation can lead, and in most cases, will lead to devastation. It's your boy, The Real Lil. On to the next. Stay tuned. We got some more content on the way.